My dear brothers and sisters, how long have you been carrying this pain in silence? How many nights have you cried without anyone noticing? How many times have you smiled during the day but felt like you're falling apart inside? You try to be strong. You try to hold it together. But deep down, you're exhausted, exhausted from waiting, exhausted from pretending, exhausted from trying to fix everything on your own. Let me tell you something from the depths of my heart. Stop worrying about what's not in your hands. Stop trying to control what was never yours to begin with, because you are not alone and you were never meant to carry it all by yourself. Allah is with you and He will fix it in His way, in His time, with more wisdom and mercy than you could ever imagine. So before this reminder continues, take a breath. Just pause for a moment and say softly to your heart, I don't have all the answers, but my Rabb does. And that is enough for me. The storm in your heart. There are days when you wake up, but your heart still feels heavy. You don't even know why. You just feel a weight sitting on your chest. And you tell yourself, it's okay, I just need to push through the day. But deep inside, there's a storm, a silent chaos that no one else can see. You walk through life doing what's expected of you. Smile, work, study, cook, talk. But no one sees the real battle inside your mind. The thoughts that won't stop. The fears that whisper, you're not enough. Things will never get better. What if Allah doesn't help you this time? You try to ignore the pain. You scroll through your phone. You distract yourself with noise. But when the night comes and the world becomes quiet, that storm gets louder. You lie in bed, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. Your body is tired, but your mind is running. Your chest feels tight. And the only words you can whisper are, Ya Allah, help me, I don't even know what's wrong. Maybe you felt abandoned by people you loved, by plans that failed, by the future you once dreamed of. You're holding yourself together with threads, but those threads feel like they're about to break. But here's the truth, and I need you to hear this. That storm in your heart, that isn't a sign of your weakness. It's a sign of your humanness. Even the strongest believers have moments when they feel like they're falling apart. Even the Prophet ﷺ had moments of fear, of grief, of sadness. He lost his children. He was rejected by his people. He sat in the darkness of the cave, alone, waiting for Allah's help. But through every storm, he turned to Allah again and again. Not because he had no strength, but because he knew where true strength comes from. So if your heart feels like a battlefield today, if your mind is tired from the constant war of thoughts, you are not broken. You are just being reminded you were never meant to do this alone. The lie we believe. One of the most dangerous things Shaitan whispers to you is not to sin. It's to doubt. He doesn't always say, disobey Allah. Sometimes he just says, Allah has forgotten you. Your dua is pointless. Maybe you're being punished. Maybe Allah doesn't love you like He loves others. And slowly, without realizing it, you stop raising your hands. You stop praying with your heart. You stop expecting mercy. Not because you hate Allah, but because deep down, you start believing the lie that maybe He's not listening anymore. But my dear brothers and sisters, please hear this. That is not your voice. That is not your truth. That is Shaitan feeding your fear. Because he knows the moment you say, Ya Allah, with sincerity, Allah responds. The Prophet ﷺ told us, Shaitan says to a person, who created this? Who created that? Until he says, who created Allah? When that happens, seek refuge and stop. This shows us something deeper. Shaitan doesn't always come to destroy you through sins. Sometimes he tries to destroy you by planting seeds of doubt in your heart. Because he knows a heart that doubts Allah cannot fully trust Him. And if you stop trusting you stop asking. If you stop asking, you stop receiving. Shaitan wants you to believe you're too broken, too sinful, too late, too distant. But what does Allah say? Call upon me and I will respond to you. Quran 40:60. Not call on me when you're perfect. Not call on me only if you didn't sin this week. Just call on me, even if your voice shakes, even if it's been months, even if you're crying in the dark, unsure of what to say. Allah hears every heartbeat behind your silence. So don't believe the lie. Don't let doubt cover what faith has always known. If you're struggling to believe, tell Allah. Say, Ya Allah, I want to trust you. Help me. Ya Allah, I'm trying. Please don't let me go. Because the moment you fight that whisper and the moment you push back with even the smallest spark of tawakkul, you've already won. Allah's promise is never broken. There's something you must always hold on to, no matter how heavy life gets. No matter how many nights you cry yourself to sleep. No matter how many doors close in your face. No matter how long you've been waiting, Allah's promise is never broken. Not sometime, not maybe, not if you're good enough. Never. He is not like people who forget, not like friends who disappear when you're in pain, not like this world that changes from day to day. Allah is constant, His words are eternal. He says in the Quran, indeed the promise of Allah is truth. Quran 10:55. So if He promised something, it will come. If He said your hardship will be followed by ease, it will come. If He said every tear you shed for His sake is recorded, it is. If He said no dua goes unanswered, then every whisper you've made has already reached Him. You see, Allah doesn't work on our deadlines. We want things fast. We want pain to end now. We want solutions today. But Allah is not just trying to give you what you want. He's preparing you for what's best. Sometimes the delay is the mercy. Sometimes the closed door is the protection. Sometimes the long wait is building something inside you that you'll need for the future. You can't see yet. And do you know what's amazing? Even while you're waiting, even when nothing seems to be changing, Allah is still blessing you. He's still giving you food, breath, a heartbeat, moments of peace, and the strength to keep going when you thought you couldn't. So don't let your mind play tricks on you. Don't let shaitan tell you it's too late. Because Allah said in the Quran, is not Allah enough for His servant? Quran 39:36. Yes, He is enough. Always has been. Always will be. Maybe you can't see the answer right now, but your patience is not being wasted. Your dua is not being ignored. Your pain is not being forgotten. Because the one who wrote your story knows exactly when to send relief. And when it comes, you'll look back and say, Subhanallah, He was with me the whole time. So hold on, even if it's by a thread, because your Rab never breaks His promise. And your miracle might be closer than you think. Why we feel lost? Sometimes you just feel lost. You don't know what to do. You don't know where your life is going. You wake up in the morning, but you're not excited about anything. You pray, you make dua, you try to be strong, but inside something still feels empty. And you start asking questions like, why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? Why can't I feel happy anymore? You look around and it feels like everyone else has it figured out. People are getting married, getting jobs, having children, smiling, laughing, moving forward. And you feel like you're stuck, like you're falling behind, like Allah forgot to write happiness in your story. But my dear brothers and sisters, you are not forgotten and you are not being punished. Sometimes Allah lets you feel lost so that you finally turn to the one who knows exactly where you are. We live in a world that keeps telling you, figure it out, be strong, take control. But Allah is gently calling you, let go, come back to me. Because the truth is, You were never meant to navigate this life alone. You were created weak, not as a failure, but so that you'd learn how to rely on your Rabb, not just your plans. Allah says in the Quran, and they plan, but Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planners. Quran 8:30. You see, the reason you feel lost sometimes is because you were planning your life without including Him in your plans. Maybe you wanted something so badly, but it slipped through your fingers. Maybe you tried to make it work, but everything kept falling apart. Maybe you made dua and then waited and waited, but nothing happened. And so your heart began to question, why is Allah not helping me? But what you don't see is that sometimes the very thing you're begging for is not the thing that will bring you peace. Sometimes the delay is saving you from heartbreak. Sometimes the silence is protecting you from harm. Sometimes the confusion is building your trust. Because if everything was easy, you would forget Allah. And if everything made sense, you would rely on your own logic instead of His wisdom. So yes, feeling lost hurts, but it is in that confusion that you begin to search. And it's in that search that you often find Allah more deeply than ever before. The shift in your heart. There comes a moment in your journey with Allah when something inside you changes. It doesn't happen loudly. It's not dramatic. It's not even something the world sees, but you feel it. Maybe it happens after one long night of crying. Maybe it comes in the middle of a quiet dua. Maybe it rises up inside you when everyone else has given up on you, and all you have left is Allah. That's the moment when your heart stops just asking why and starts whispering, guide me, strengthen me. Ya Allah, I surrender to you. This shift in your heart from questioning to trusting is one of the most powerful moments of your life, because that's when healing begins. That's when sabr enters your soul. That's when you no longer panic when things don't go your way, because you finally understand it was never your plan. It was always His. You stop needing answers to everything. You stop chasing closure from people who hurt you. You stop overthinking every delay, and you start breathing deeper. You start sleeping better. You start walking with a quiet strength, not because life is perfect, but because your trust in Allah has grown stronger than your fear. That shift is not weakness. It's not giving up. It's the beginning of true peace. Because instead of saying, I'll only be okay when things change, you start saying, I'll be okay because Allah is with me even if nothing changes. You learn to find comfort in prayer, not just as a routine but as a refuge. You learn to cry in sujood and leave the pain there with the one who knows how to heal it. You begin to rely less on people and more on the creator of those people. And you understand something deep and powerful. Peace doesn't come from the absence of pain. It comes from the presence of Allah even in the middle of the storm. That's the shift. That's the moment your heart starts to heal. Not because the pain is gone, but because you're no longer walking through it alone. The real power, we often think power means control. Control over our life. Control over our emotions. Control over our future. Control over what happens next. But what if I told you, real power is not in controlling life. It's in knowing that Allah controls everything and being at peace with that. Because let's be honest, we're not in control. You didn't choose your birth. You can't control your next heartbeat. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. You don't know who will stay or who will leave. You don't even control the air you breathe. Yet you walk through life like it's all up to you. And that's why you break. That's why you panic. That's why your heart feels heavy. Because you're carrying what only Allah can carry. You were never created to control everything. You were created to trust the one who does. That's where real power is. It's in raising your hands in dua and saying, Ya Allah, I don't know how this will work out, but I trust that you do. It's in walking into the unknown, not with fear, but with faith. It's in letting go of the people who broke you, the job you didn't get, the plan that fell apart, and saying, if it wasn't written for me, then I don't want it. I only want what brings me closer to you. That's not weakness. That's not giving up. That's real strength. Because real strength is when you stop chasing what this world calls success and you start chasing Allah's pleasure. Real power is standing in sujood when your world is falling apart, but your forehead is touching the ground saying, you are enough for me. It's when you choose prayer over panic, dhikr over distraction, dua over despair. It's when you stop saying, what if this doesn't work out? And you start saying, even if it doesn't work out the way I want, I still believe Allah is doing what's best for me. Because that level of surrender, that level of calm in the chaos, that level of certainty in the middle of confusion can only come from tawakkul. And when you have tawakkul, true trust in Allah, you become unshakable. Not because life gets easier, but because your heart is anchored in the one who never fails. That is the real power, not being in control, but trusting the one who always is. Your test is not your end. Just because you're struggling right now doesn't mean you're failing. Just because you feel broken doesn't mean you're beyond repair. And just because you're being tested does not mean Allah is angry with you. This test you're going through, this pain that no one sees, this anxiety you carry like a silent weight on your chest, it's not the end of your story. It might be the very beginning of your transformation. So many times we think, if life is hard, maybe I've done something wrong. If I'm hurting, maybe Allah is punishing me. If my dua isn't answered, maybe I'm not good enough. But that's not how your Rabb works. Allah tests those He loves. He tested the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi. Even though he was the most beloved soul to ever walk this earth, he buried his own children. He was rejected by his own people. He lived with hunger, fear, grief, and heartbreak. But he never said, Allah has abandoned me. He said, oh Allah, I complain only to you. Because he knew that a test is not a sign of rejection. It's often a sign of being drawn closer. You see, when Allah loves you, He cleanses you. He softens your heart. He makes you feel deeply. And yes, sometimes that feeling comes through pain, because pain wakes up what comfort made numb. Your test is not to destroy you. It's to grow you. It's to turn your eyes upward again. It's to make you raise your hands and say, Ya Allah, I need you more than ever. It's to make you realize you were never supposed to rely on the people, the money, the plans, the dreams. You were supposed to rely on Him. And do you know what's beautiful? Even while you're being tested, Allah is still helping you breathe. He's still covering your sins. He's still guiding your steps. He's still waiting for your heart to return fully to Him. Your test is not your end. It's a bridge between who you were and who Allah is shaping you to become. You may not understand it now, but one day you look back and say, if that pain never came, I wouldn't be this close to my Rabb today. So hold on. Don't give up in the middle of the test, because the greatest ease often comes after the greatest hardship, and the greatest light often rises just after the darkest night. My dear brothers and sisters, if you're still watching, it means your heart is holding on. It means you haven't given up yet. Even if some days it feels like you're barely breathing. And I want you to know that matters. That effort you're making to keep going, even in pain, even in silence, even in confusion, Allah sees it. So tonight, pause for a moment. Stop scrolling. Stop running. Stop trying to figure out everything all at once. Just breathe. Close your eyes for a second. And let your heart speak quietly. Ya Allah, I don't have all the answers, but I trust that you do. I can't fix this on my own, but I know you can. I feel lost. But you never lost sight of me because you are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible to the one who created your soul. Allah hasn't ignored your pain. He hasn't missed a single tear. He hasn't overlooked your late night du'as. Even if the world never noticed what you're going through, Allah did. And He says in the Quran, I respond to the call of the caller when he calls upon me. 186. He didn't say the perfect one. He didn't say the one who never sinned. He just said, when they call upon me. That means you. Yes, you, with your pain, with your past, with your doubt, with your broken heart, with your whispered, Ya Allah, at 2 a.m. You are already heard. So don't carry this burden alone. Don't believe you're too far gone. Don't think Allah is waiting for a better version of you before He helps you. Because sometimes, in the very pain you're trying to hide, is the exact doorway Allah is using to bring you back to Him. So tonight, give it to Him. The stress, the fear, the heartbreak, the questions, the weight you've been carrying for so long. Just hand it over to the one who says, indeed, Allah is sufficient for whoever relies upon Him. Quran 65:3. You were never meant to carry the world on your shoulders. You were only meant to walk this world with Allah by your side. So stop worrying. Stop breaking yourself for something that is already written. Just do your best and trust Allah with the rest. And say with your heart, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is enough for me. And He is the best one to take care of me. AGF. If you're still hurting, keep praying. If you're still doubting, keep calling on Him. If you're still waiting, keep trusting. Because relief is coming. And when it arrives, you'll realize Allah never left. Not for a moment. If this reminder touched your heart, if it reminded you that you're not alone, that Allah still hears you, still sees you, and still has a plan for you, then please don't keep it to yourself. There is someone out there, maybe a friend, maybe a stranger, who is silently breaking, who is drowning in their thoughts right now, who is smiling on the outside, but screaming inside. Be the reason they remember Allah again. Be the reason they make that one sincere dua. Be the reason their heart finds hope. Share this video with someone who needs it. Even if you don't know who, Allah does. And in the comments, type just 3 words from the depths of your heart. Ya Allah, I trust you. Let the whole world see that even in the middle of pain, there are still hearts holding on. There are still believers saying, I don't know the way, but I know my Rabb is guiding me. Save this video. Watch it again on the hard days. And if it helped you, make dua for everyone else watching too. May Allah make this reminder a means of healing for you and for every heart that finds it. Ameen.